Yes. We call this unlock your potential with holistic development. New years, new beginnings, like Prakash said. This is a new year. We are at a very, very good start of the year. This is a time when we make a lot of resolutions, but we are not here to make resolutions. We are here to clear some thought processes, and a very good part of it was being brought about by Mr. Haq, Chandan, and Padma about what they think and what needs to be clarified. And these clarities are very, very important in order for us to go ahead. Because sometimes those lack of awareness, lack of clarities don't let us take the next step. So that is why this was kept. Now, we as an organization that is facilitating Excellence Consultancy as an organization believes in these four pillars, which is coexistence, awareness, gratitude, and sharing. And that is why we have kind of gotten together. We are 50, close to 50 people now, and we are together working on helping each other coexist and grow together. The objective of this entire program is to help. So is my screen visible? I'm checking again.
Yes,
It is visible. It is visible.
So the objective of my screen, the program is to enhance leadership so that you can help lead yourself to a new personal professional growth. I am very glad.
Please unmute yourself. Nupur madam, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. I'm very glad people are able to see two things at a time and hear that, but please mute yourself while doing that. Enhance, so promote holistic growth. So we should be able to provide actionable strategies to be able to do that and drive positive change. That is what we are trying to do. What we are going to do is help you, kind of do an admit, we are trying to help you understand what you're going to do. Then Prakash will take a session on healthy nutrition, followed by my session. It's not going to be Hari sir's, it's more going to be my session, and then role of financial. Who our speakers are is Prakash is our speaker. Prakash is uh, a speaker who is working, has been give me. Prakash holds a master's in pharmacy, and he has a profound understanding of pharmaceutical science. Complementing this, he has earned a diploma in nutrition and health education, underlining his commitment to a holistic approach to well-being. Prakash excels in blending pharmaceutical knowledge with nutritional expertise, offering comprehensive solutions to individual well-being. His career has been marked by innovation and leadership, contributing significantly to industry standards. He is a thought leader in the field, making notable contributions through research, publications, and collaborations. He envisions a future where synergy becomes pharmacy and nutrition. Synergy between pharmacy and nutrition creates a holistic approach to health, fostering accessibility. With a solid educational foundation, extensive industry experience, and a commitment to advancing well-being, Prakash is a trusted expert dedicated improving lives through convergence of pharmaceutical and nutritional science. We welcome you, Prakash, and we thank you wholeheartedly for your contribution to this seminar. Our next speaker is Mr. Hari Venkatesh, who is our financial expert. Mr. Hari Venkatesh is a second generation financial expert and a visionary leader in wealth management and a financial planning industry. As a co-founder of A1 Insurance and Financial Service, Asset Bloom Financial Service LLP, he upholds a legacy of over 3 decades, delivering trusted and transformative financial solutions. A CII UK certified financial planner and a distinguished member of a $1 million round table, Hari brings extensive expertise in insurance, mutual funds, equities, and structured financial products. Under his guidance, the firms have successfully addressed diverse financial needs and offers claim management services supporting clients during critical financial challenges. Hari's inspiring transitions from engineering background to financial sector was driven by his father's influence and his own passion for promoting financial literacy. As a franchisee of Motilal Oswal Security, Hari has opened Demat account and provides strategic research insights to support their long-term wealth building journey through stock market investments. Hari has also pioneered initiatives like A1 Investment Insights Community Group to enhance financial awareness. We welcome you, Hari sir, for being a part of this webinar and your insights.
Thank you, madam.
The next speaker is myself. I am basically a background with 2 decades of experience in HR strategic development, and I'll be speaking on emotional intelligence. I am an author of 2 books, and my passion is helping build an atmosphere of emotional resilience. So, helping people understand awareness is the key to development. And that is what I do for people, and that is what the effort is. My organization, Facilitating Excellence Consultancy, which will now also be known as Manas FE Consultancy, will be catering to helping people understand how important emotions are for students, for teachers, for parents, and most importantly, organizations, which help you achieve results. So emotions are not just meant for well-being, they are helpful in you ensuring that you achieve results. And I have pioneered in a model called AELS that I'll be discussing today as well. So this is for me. Without further ado, I would now request our first speaker on board, Prakash, to take over for the nutrition session of the section. So may I now request Prakash to take over. I will spotlight you, and I have given you the host rights, Prakash, for the sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Nupur. So let me start with wishing you all a very happy and prosperous and most importantly, healthy New Year 2025. Okay. So I'm sure, are my slides visible?
Yes, you can put it on screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So basically, as we enter the new year, most people actually make new year resolutions. And it also says that as a survey says that 80% of the new resolutions are based on losing weight. I don't know how many of you have thought about it. This is a fact. And entire world, they also say that the gyms, the maximum registrations or subscription happens in the first week of New Year every year. But unfortunate thing is 2 to 3 weeks later, and most of them will drop out. So gyms make maximum money in the first week, but without even offering the services. That's the crazy part of it, isn't it? But today, what we need to understand is since Nupur has beautifully brought in 3 things, because emotion is very important. Okay, as much as motivation is important, your emotional balance is also important to keep us going to whatever we want to do. Okay, so when you look at the topic which I'm going to cover today is going to be unlocking your potential with nutrition code. So what is this nutrition code is all about? This is something there is nothing rocket science about it. This is a very simple hacks which all of us know, but unfortunately we don't apply it on a daily basis. That's an unfortunate thing. But let's get into a little bit of details as to what we can actually do. What is it nutrition code is all about. So basically what happens is daily basis, somebody cooks at home and the plate comes in front of us, we just blindly eat it. We don't even think what's going inside. We don't know why we are eating it. Okay, what is the important of post eating? I mean, we don't think of any of those things. We just want to fill our stomach at that point of time because we just want to address the hunger, nothing else. But what is slight change? What we need to make is we need to tailor make your food. Okay, a small change, small hack. So if you can tailor make your food, okay, then you eat in a mindful way. Okay, the mindful eating habits that will actually unlock your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. So what we're trying to address here is don't just eat to fill your hunger, to get rid of your hunger, but more than that, the more important uh, reason behind eating is you need to actually take care of your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. That's key. So when you keep this in mind, whenever you eat something, I think the way you eat, the way you think about food will be different. Okay. So nutrition is basically a cornerstone of holistic development because by nourishing your body, mind, and spirit, you can actually unlock your potential, full potential to lead healthier, happier, and more fulfilling lives. That's what is required. So it is there. And all of us have 3 or 4 meals a day. Okay, we all eat. It's something new which I'm saying. But only thing is the way you look at it, the way you treat your food, and the mindful eating, the small changes which you can adopt from now onwards. I think this will actually make your journey towards a holistic well-being. That's what we're trying to address today. Okay. So I'm not able to give you the complete gyan on nutrition, but within the small time, whatever we have, I'll just try to touch upon few basic things. Okay. So what is the foundations of nutrition basically? When you look at nutrition, I mean, normally what happens, like in typical South Indian food, normally takes white rice and rasam is a typical food what we have. When you look at North India, I mean, again, the roti and maybe some sabji made up of aloo, it's a most common item what we normally eat. But unfortunately, both these cases, okay, this doesn't give the kind of nutrition which we need. Okay, that's something we need to understand. Only eating, okay, rice and sambar or dal and aloo will not take care of our nutrition requirement. So that's why we need to have a variety in our food. So what is the variety? Variety should take care of our two kinds of nutrition, that is macronutrient and micronutrient. So macronutrient is basically something which gives us energy. That is maybe simple carbohydrates. Okay, there's rice is one of them, roti is one of them. But again, what we need to address is we also need to look at other macronutrients like protein as well as fat. Fat is very important, but unfortunately, the way we treat today, this fat is enemy of our body. That's actually wrong. But too much of anything is too bad. Could be carbohydrate or protein or anything of too much is bad, but we need to take in the right proportion. That's what we need to understand. And what is micronutrient is all about? Micronutrients is basically something which is available in a very small, minute quantities, like it could be vitamins, could be minerals, it could be trace metals, whatever it is. All these things are very, very important because they play a very important role in our energy, okay, in day-to-day repair your body and to protect ourselves by building an immune function. So the food is not just to eat, but this performs a lot of roles. So we need to keep this in mind when you look at our plate and then you focus on eating. Okay. The second most important thing you need to address today is gut health because today when you look at the most people, okay, 85 to 90% of all of diseases in today's modern world, the diseases, all these diseases arise out of gut. So this is the most, what I can say, neglected part of our body because we tend to neglect it. And even the smallest thing, like could be constipation, could be acidity, could be irritable bowel syndrome, whatever. All these things, okay, arise out of, we tend to neglect these things, these symptoms when we get into our gut. So addressing these small issues through our, in our gut is very, very important. Prevent ourselves from getting into most of these lifestyle diseases. Because gut health is very important because, as I mentioned, 85 to 90% of diseases, like including diseases like you may not even relate, but something like depression. Okay, most people today in the stressed world, people undergo depression, but depression has got nothing to do with your brain. First thing is actually to do with gut. Then the last resort is brain. Okay, but unfortunately, the moment we think of depression, the first thing is we approach psychiatrist. But what is the small thing we can do on our own in our own home is address the gut issues. Let it take care of 90% of your gut. That will prevent your psychiatric diseases. It could be even autoimmune diseases. Okay, most of these diseases can be prevented by taking care of our gut. That's why I meant to say gut health is very important. And the third most important thing is people don't drink enough water today. Drinking enough water is very important because it supports most of our body functions have been supported by water. And that's also one of the macronutrient. So, I mean, when it comes to emotional well-being, okay, what we also need to understand is how the nutrition helps in our mental clarity. That's very important because food has got a major role to play in our mental ability. Okay, as I said, holistic development happens because through food. So there are foods, okay, like nuts, seeds, fatty fish, could be greens. All these basically support your cognitive function. So if you don't incorporate these things in your daily diet, okay, so your brain will have some sort of a depletion in performance. And the mood regulation, people have varied moods, okay, on a regular basis. Why is it? Because there is changes in hormonal changes, okay. So the balanced nutrition can help stabilize hormone like serotonin. See, as I was talking about gut health, okay, when we go to a psychiatrist with a depression, what does the doctor prescribe? In most cases, they prescribe what they prescribe is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So this basically serotonin, which is already there in body, which you can address yourself by addressing the nutrition, the food, the plate which is have every day, that can actually take care of this. So you can actually prevent the depression right from your food itself. So mood regulation is very important, and this can be addressed through food itself. And third one is stress management because all of us in today's world, okay, the busy world, the lifestyle, the kind of careers we go through, all of us go through stress level. Okay, a lot of stress, all of us have for various reasons at various level, various roles we play in our life. I mean, we have tremendous amount of stress. So it's very important for us to address stress through certain food because certain type of food when you take it actually reduces inflammation and cortisol levels. When cortisol levels are addressed, your stress level automatically will taken care. That's why it's very, very important for us to take care of our stress level through food. And personal nutrition for peak performance is something which I would like to address here because the first and foremost thing is don't look at too much of complicated things when it comes to nutrition. People talk about so much about, I mean, the complexities of nutrition, but it's very simple thing is we all that what we need to understand is it doesn't one food will not suit everybody because each body is different, so we need to understand our own body first. Okay, it doesn't mean that one food can address everything of everybody's, no. So what we need to do is as an individual we need to understand the concept of bio individuality because what is our body is made up of, what is our genetically what is it our body is made up of, what kind of issues we have and what kind of a lifestyle I lead. Okay, all those things come into picture when you actually look at you're planning your nutrition. So that's why it's very important to understand our bio individuality. And based on that, we also need to look at designing our food. That's very important. Okay. So first thing is you need to listen to your body first. Don't see when you look at some food is good. Everybody says this food is fantastic, but that particular food may cause a lot of allergy to your body. That means just because somebody is saying it's good for others doesn't mean that it's good for you. For you, it could be an enemy. It could be a poison for you. Okay. So that's why we need to understand each of these type of the food and your body. So when both sync, that's when it actually do good for us. The second thing is food intolerances are very common today's world because a lot of new things and packaged foods we get. So because this what happens is a lot of people undergo a lot of intolerance, allergies, and we need to understand to address this. We need to understand what is our digestion type, what is your optimal energy level. Okay, how do you optimize energy levels and digestion? That's very important. And basically, what we need to do is today's world, since we depend so much about the packaged foods. Okay, so the most important thing is when it comes to nutrition, try to avoid this packaged food. Stay as much as you stay away from these packaged foods. That's good for you. Okay, that's something you need to because that's when you can address this intolerances with food. Because earlier, when you look at 40, 50 years back, we never heard of lactose intolerance. Today, the most youngsters are getting lactose intolerance. We can't even give milk for them. A lot of people have been eating rotis in India for ages now, for generations together. But today, why is it how most people are getting gluten intolerance? I mean, because our bodies are undergoing changes. Okay, so there is a intolerance being developed because we have been exposing our body to unnatural foods. That's where all these things are coming. So we need to address those things. And the most important thing is not just eating food at any given point of time, but meal timing is crucial because we need to align our body with circadian rhythm, okay, which can enhance the focus and vitality because circadian rhythm is what? What basically the sunrise to sunset, okay? So when you understand the circadian rhythm, there are each of our body, I mean, undergoes a lot of changes during this 24 hours a day. Okay. So during those specific hours, our body produces specific hormones to address our health. So when it happens, like say, for example, when you're eating, you're preferably you need to finish your dinner before by the time sun sets. Okay. That means or at least as early as like maybe 7 p.m. But if you go beyond, like today's the lifestyle has changed so much. The new parties are coming up, weekend parties, New Year parties, so many things. So that's actually pushing us to have our dinner much later, maybe in the midnight. So that is what causes imbalance in our body. Okay. So this causes completely, it reverses your hormonal production. So this can actually affect not only our health, it affects to a large extent our mood. Okay. The mood variance. I mean, and then it also affects our mental health. This is very, very important. So that is very important for us to understand the meal timing and fix the timing. And again, each body is different. Understand that not necessarily you have to eat 4 meals a day or 3 meals a day. It's up to you. You decide, but stick to that and stick to that specific timing and repeat the same thing on a regular basis. That's what your body understands well, and then that body keeps itself ready to digest food, and it also takes care of our health. What is holistic practices with nutrition? Basically, mindful eating is very important. Savor the food and be present during meals. Because most of us while eating will be watching TV or will be looking at a mobile phone. So your body doesn't understand how much you're eating and what you're eating. So while eating, you need to focus should be on eating, nothing else. Your mind should be there on the plate. Okay, nothing else. You should be completely cut off from outside world. That is when you actually eat well and digest well, and that food actually gives you the right nutrition for your body. And pairing nutrition with lifestyle is very important because in today's world, most of us, because of lifestyle or whatever it is, I mean, most of us are leading a sedentary lifestyle. So it's very important to incorporate the physical activity, and also it also helps in stress management because you need to have good sleep to manage the stress and to also get maximum benefits of nutrition. Because just because you go to some very high-end organic store, pay 10 times the amount and get some organic food, organic vegetables, and prepare food and eat it, it doesn't really going to help you because unless until you have proper rest to your body, unless until you have enough physical activity in your body, okay, unless until you manage your stress level, your nutrition is not absorbed fully. How much ever you spent on organic vegetables, still it becomes worthless if your body is not ready to accept and absorb those nutrition in right manner. That's just very important for us to understand these things. It's not just about eating, but other things like physical activity, managing your stress level, the sleep, all these things are very, very important to ensure we get a good nutrition to our body. A detox and reset discuss, I mean, basically body needs detox because body produces a lot of toxins. So we need to get rid of these toxins on a regular basis. That's why we also need to address and cleanse our body on a regular basis. Today, at the end of this webinar, what I would like you to take back, okay? If there are a couple of points which I expect you to take back is one is maybe what changes you can make from today for this new year is evaluate your current eating habits. Check how much of junk is your refrigerator is having at food. How much of packaged foods you've been buying on a regular basis. Check that. I mean, check your current eating habits. How much of outside food you're eating. How much of synthetic preservatives or adjuvants have been added to your food. Try to analyze this and try to eliminate these things as early as possible. And check your BMI. If your BMI height to weight ratio is more than 23, I think it's time for you to address it by losing weight. It's very, very important because the obesity is the major cause in today's world for majority of the diseases are all caused because of obesity. If you don't address obesity at the right time, I think then it will be too late because obesity can lead to majority of diseases like cardiac problem, it could be psychiatric problem, it could be it could be neurological problems, it could be so many things. I mean, address it, name it, the diseases. It could be cancer, it could be thyroid issues, hypertension, you name it, everything is because of obesity. If you can address this one issue of obesity, I think you can take care of most of your health issues by addressing this one important thing. So check your BMI today, and if it's more than 23, act on it today. Maybe that could be your new resolution today. Start with one mindful change. Maybe somebody's not drinking enough water. Just start measuring. Okay, measuring how much of water you're drinking. Okay, and then incorporate new vegetable daily because don't get stuck to only 2, 3 vegetables like normally what we bring. Maybe most houses you see, maybe the same vegetables keep repeating. It could be carrot, it could be radish, it could be aloo. Nothing beyond that. So it's very important for us to understand the importance of variety of vegetables because that's what gives us complex carbohydrates, and that is what helps us to build a good microbiome. The gut health will be taken care when you add variety of vegetables in the food. So maybe you can set a challenge for yourself the next 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks of this first month of this 2025. Maybe you can just track yourself that you want to eat 30 different vegetables, not repeating the same vegetables, 30 different vegetables on a daily basis. If you go to market and find enough, if you want, you can get back to me. I'll give you the list of vegetables if you don't find, but there are enough vegetables available in market. So try to get those and try to incorporate new vegetable on a daily basis. For 15 days, you're going to have two vegetables daily. So 30 vegetables you're going to have in that 15 days. Okay. And maybe you can keep a food diary to identify patterns and triggers. So, what are the healthy eating ideas? I mean, just to give you quickly, because somebody was asking in the beginning, what kind of a food you need to give the hostel, what kind of a food we need to give. Maybe I think this slide would address them. So, food is not just like as I mentioned, rice or sambar, rice or rasam, dal and chapati, roti and aloo kind of a thing. But this food plate typically should have this. Each meal should have the composition of vegetables and fruits, should have some oils, should have protein, it should have starch and grains. So if you can look at this, okay, ensure that when you take a plate, does your plate, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner contains all these things, okay? If you want to give you more details, maybe 8 to 10 of cups of water is also very important. Maybe to give you more details, a little more elaboration, maybe you can take 40% of your meal plate should contain vegetables. That's very important. 40%, understand that. Because most of us, you have only one or two vegetables, one or two pieces, so it only comes to less than 10% in most food. Okay, we eat, our food plate is 90% filled with only simple carbs. So we need to replace that with 40% of a plate, 40 to 50% should be vegetables, 25% could be pulses, grains, and 25% could be proteins, and 10% could be fat. So each meal should have the constitution, which constitute each of these things. You can't miss anything. All these things only can contribute and can be called as ideal meal for our body to take care of our health. Okay. So that's all I got to share today. Hope this has given you some idea about what nutrition is all about, what is mindful eating is all about, how we can address most of our health issues, including our mental issues. It could be holistic development can happen through nutrition. Today, unlocking your potential, okay, begins with what you put on your plate. I think that's something you need to understand. I hope each one of us, starting from today, look at a plate before we start eating and understand and analyze whether that does form your whole meal. It contains carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, proteins, as well as fats. I think if you can address that, I think most of our health issues will be taken care and wish you all a great, healthy new year 2025 and hope you take some action today and start practicing from tomorrow. Thank you. Over to you, Nupur.
Um, Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you so much, Prakash. It was indeed a very, very eye-opening session. And for me personally, I think I have a lot to take away from here. I think all of us here are learning a lot right now. And Prakash, the next session being on emotional intelligence, there's a lot of cue that I have taken right now. So I would now would kind of start. I mean, all people who have questions, I would like you to park those questions or put them on chat because there are questions that you have. I'm sure there are questions. I also got feedback while you were presenting that normally people don't talk about circadian rhythm. So that personally is a very good feedback. So interesting feedbacks for people. What I would also say is whatever questions you have, please jot it down on the chat, put it down on there, and we will take up after the session is during the question answer round. Meanwhile, I will start my session. The next session is on emotional intelligence and how emotions work with. So I'll quickly start sharing my presentation. So is my presentation visible? Yes. So I have a poll first before I start. Um, is my poll visible to everyone? Yes? Can you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you please start voting? The first question is, would you share your food with someone you don't like? And the second question is, would you lend your money to someone you don't know?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, Mr.
ma'am.
Haq.
Maybe in the first thing, maybe my answer, and in the second, definitely not.
Absolutely. See, there is no right or wrong answer. It's your choice.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So when we are close to about
Better? Yeah.
minutes, uh, so you can yes, thank you so much. So we're waiting for about 35. When we have about 75% participation, we can close the poll. I normally ask this question because this is all about belief structures. Belief structures about your food, belief structures about how you see money. And I know people who have attended sessions with me in the past. Some of them actually have experienced this question from me, at least the nutrition and the food one they have, because I've asked them in my sessions. So I'm just going to I'm going to exit the poll in next 1 minute because I have most of the presentation. Okay, I'm just going to end the poll now. Okay. So are you able to see the results? So we
No,
have, sorry, yeah.
we cannot see the results right now.
Oh. Can you see now?
No.
Okay, I'll just tell you the results. Says 31% have said yes. Another 31% for the first question have said no. 34% are tentative. So it's more of 33, 33, 33. And 3% are saying maybe if I have a choice, I might. As far as money is concerned, almost 50%, more than 50% have said no, we'll definitely not lend money to people who don't know. And 33% have said either maybe or depends on the circumstances. Now, this is exactly what we mean to say when it comes to awareness on what our belief structures are or the emotional code of when it comes to linking our nutrition, our food, or our money related decisions are. And that is how because the emotional part of it is not just about what we are doing or what our belief structures are. It's basically based on something that we have brought up with, how we think about money. Is it good to be shared? Some people have said yes, we'll share, even if if it's with a person we don't like, is because we've been brought up with the thought process that food sharing is good. So this is something that maybe we have always been taught. So this is something. So today going to talk about something where we are going to access four basic verticals of how we proceed in life. Awareness. What is awareness? What Prakash was doing for you today, is helping you get more aware on what nutrition is all about, how to you get more understanding on nutrition so that you take more informed decisions. He also touched upon stress as a indicator. So, but then when he touched upon stress, he also talked about what happens to our body and what do we do differently. So that's the emotional management part of it. He talked about what actions to take. So once you do that, and this in this presentation, we'll start with what is stress. So what happens when you are stressed? What is stress? A basic understanding that, because Prakash talked about stress. Stress is a natural reaction to a challenge or threat that can cause a feeling of mental or physical tension. This fear, how many times? So we have taken a survey, and all of us at any given point of time feel a sense of stress, right? But what does stress do to us emotionally? Stress causes a sense of overwhelm. Stress is also causing a sense of loneliness. It is not just about we kind of not being able to focus, it is also helping us get completely overwhelmed with emotions. And at the same time, it also does not let us take a clear view of what we want to achieve. So when we are under stress, any kind of stress, we normally tend to become not so specific on the problem at hand, but we tend to get lost, and we also tend to lose focus on how we are going to proceed in future. So we tend to lose perspective, which manifests itself in mental and physical tension. But then what do we do when we stress? Since we are losing control, we kind of control what we can control. And it is not necessarily the positive element of what can be controlled. So, how many people tend to binge eat when they are too stressed? A lot of us, when we are stressed, we trying to find solace in something that we used to find solace when we were younger. So when we used to, for me, Maggie was my go-to food when I was young. Now that I am 46, I still think I can get away with eating Maggie. But Maggie does not gel well with me at this age in my current physicality. And that is where my problem begins. The bio individuality part of me is no longer helping me give the same amount of solace. On the other hand, it is actually making me feel very, very uncomfortable. It is making me very, very difficult for my body. What other things do we do when we are very stressed? We want to control what we can control. So we get into shopping spree sometimes. We have a card. We say, okay, let me see what can make me feel good. And nowadays, online shopping is something which makes it very easy for us. The easiest way nowadays is mindless scrolling. Mindlessness is something that happens to us all the time. Now, what are these things doing for us? These things are actually not conscious thought processes. These are not doing, as we are not doing it as part of our thought, which is helping us think. It is more of a running away from a problem strategy. It is not a positive strategy. And when none of this works, what we do is we isolate ourselves because we feel, oh my God, life is not working out for us. Nobody is trying to understand. Food is which used to make me feel good is not really making me feel good. Shopping is not really making me feel good. Even the mindless scrolling on videos is actually not giving me that kind of high which it used to give. So nobody is understanding me. Let me close myself from the world. And that is what I start doing eventually when I'm stressed. As a result, I'm frustrated. But what does it do for me in phase of nutrition? I eat mindlessly and it brings me a sense of shame. Because when I'm not eating, the emotional quotient, the emotional behavior which is happening to me is because it gives me the sense of, oh my God, I have that realization, I should be eating it, or this is not the right track because my emotional watch is telling me, my mindfulness is telling me this is not right. So though I'm eating it, it is still telling me, oh, it's not right. Or when I kind of try and work in terms of finance, when I'm kind of working on something that is not really, if I'm kind of putting myself in debt, it gives me a sense of guilt. This is beyond my, I'm stepping beyond uh, my realm. Then it's kind of getting me into that shape of guilt. But what do I do when it's going there? Why am I going like that? Stress is just a symptom. You have to understand that. Stress is not the main culprit. The main culprit is, like Prakash said, all underlying problems, like health problems. Sometimes autoimmune is the issue. Sometimes there are underneath issues which are causing problems for you to deal with stress. So address the underlying issues which are causing these issues. When we took our survey, we also realized that maximum part of the stress is coming from our relationship issues. Our taxes, our financial burdens also cause a lot of stressors. So when we say we are stressed, we are not really able to pinpoint which part of it is actually causing stress for us. Sometimes it is also a bigger part of it, which is why we are doing what we are doing. And that why is a lack of purpose, which kind of does not help us. Because we are on an autopilot mode. We get up in the morning, we go to the office or we go to work, and then we kind of come back, we talk to the children, we maybe don't talk to the children, we hang out with friends. It is such an autopilot mode that we really do not live in the moment to see why we are doing whatever we are doing. And that is the biggest question that we have to answer and keep asking ourselves, because that answer will keep changing. As a result of it, we are losing focus every moment of time, because if we are doing mindless expenses, mindless eating, it is leading to mindless living. And we do not want to do a mindless living. We want to do a very emotionally conscious living, because we want to be in touch with what we want to do every step of the way. Everything has an underlying reason. Health issues, relationship issues is leading to stress issues. But then what do we do about it? And that is the emotional management aspect of it. These are the awareness, these are the problems. But then what next? We find an anchor. Anchor is anything that refers, that grounds me. That is the reason why I do what I do. So unless and until all of us here find a reason for whatever I do, if I'm eating, why am I eating? If I am investing, why am I investing? If I am going to work, if I'm studying, why am I doing it? That will help me take the next step very soundly, because the why is very, very important. So how do I do that? The first step that I always say is set your goals. Now, setting my goals is very easier said than done, and that is what I've realized. So one of the very important tool that I use with my clients is the wheel of life. Now, this wheel of life is something that all people should know. We are all a part of These are various components in everybody's life. We are all a part where we see personal development, finance, health, play, social life, family, home, creativity, relationships. Now, we are a mix or a combination of this particular wheel. And in our life, we should have a combination. We need to see where we are right now. And when we are a combination, this particular combination has all emotions in different aspect. So some of it will be admiration, vigilance, loathing, grief. So at any given point of time, our wheel of life also has these emotions, emotional aspect that govern our decision making. And another thing to understand here is we have different stages of life, we have different focus. At school, we'll have friends, room, family, health, school, grades, which is our focus in life. But once we are an adult, our focus will be maybe spiritual, maybe career, maybe finance. In school, we don't worry about our finances, that's for our parents to worry about. So that is the transition. And what I also tell my clients is this should also be a very personal thing. You should also realize that your focus should very, very be personal. Unless you have a very personal focus of life, you will never be able to transition to something more concrete. In this session today, we are talking about finance and health. Just like that, you have to ensure that you find your own focus so that you are able to figure out what will help you transition and get the best of your own focus area. Maybe your focus area is you're fine with finance, you're fine with health, but you need more spiritual guidance. Maybe you need to focus more on spiritual. Maybe you need to focus more on personal development. Then your quarterly goals, short-term goals, should focus more on personal developments. And that is why what we help people do. The leadership aspect, it's very important that you understand that people do not work on their goals independently. They need to have a support structure. Now, what is their support structure? Who is their support structure? They have to start on it themselves. But then their family, your friends, your colleagues, your workplace, and your society are the people who they have to lead in terms to become a successful person. So you cannot just say, okay, I am going on a diet, but my family will eat the same food. That does not work, because ultimately today or tomorrow you will give in. So even if you start a diet today, but your family is eating samosas, you have to ensure that all of them tomorrow start with the same change, because it's good for the environment in the family also. So lead them to good eating habits. Same is investing. Lead them to good investing habits. Let them grow with you. And it's not just for me and my family, it's for your friends. Lead them to good decisions. Because when you grow, you want people to grow with you. And that is where your role comes in very strongly, because unless and until you lead your loved ones and people who are important to you grow with you, you will never feel that I've grown completely. So that is the most important aspect of leadership. We don't understand leadership in the context that leadership, we see, oh yes, I am leading. Maybe leadership is where, I am supposed to be governing a management or get a management. No, that's not just leadership. Leadership is actually leading my entire team and my entire family to taking the same decisions and helping them grow in a manner so that we all are growing together in the same wavelength. So having the communication with them, tell them what my goals are, tell them what my challenges are, get them on board. Unless you get them on board, it is going to be a very difficult journey for you. So whenever you take a wealth decision, nutrition decision, understand that you are not the only one doing it. It is the entire package deal for your extended family or your extended circle. So take them on board. And finally, the social orientation part of it, which is understanding my life purpose. Why do I do what you do? So whenever you're talking about this circle, I need to know what is my end aim. Now, when I was talking about short-term goals, long-term goals, what I've seen is we normally have a tendency to find sort of a purpose which I am very closely related to. So for me, like for example, I am very, very passionate about climate change. So that has somehow remained with me even when I was younger. So even today, my organization, the trust that I'm associated with, Acharya Vai Prakash Dwivedi Memorial Trust, a wing is working on environment. So that something is something that so what I would probably recommend, and I recommend it for all my clients, is find something. There is a bigger picture. These are the SDGs. Find something that you feel very, very closely about, and then associate with some kind of broader activity, society activity, and work with that, so that you are part of a bigger picture and you understand where you're coming from. So this is my final takeaways for this session: is identify your patterns, where what your belief structures are about nutrition, about your money, when do you eat, how do you eat. Keep the end in mind. Keep the end in mind is basically about why are you eating, why are you doing what you're doing, why are you investing, why are you making a goal, what is your end goal, what are your, so if you say talk about wheel of life, personal development is your goal. If maybe travel, if you want to travel, maybe you want to have a short term travel plan, maybe you want to invest for that. Keep that in mind. So those kind of investment, those kind of indicators, maybe if I want to stay fit, if I want to be able to walk if I want to run marathon, so that is my nutrition plan. So keep the end in mind. um, Find an accountability partner. The leadership quotient is all about helping you find an accountability partner. It is not about people telling you you're not doing this, it is not you're doing that. It is all about helping you find, you're not alone in this. We are here. You go ahead, you do whatever you can, and we are there to support you. It is very important because we all need collaborators. Be open to change, because something that you need to remember is your goals will change, your wheel of life will change. It will sometimes not be the same for everyone. One very interesting thing that Prakash shared in his session was bio individuality, and that is also true for emotional. Very true, in fact, that every person is emotionally a very interesting and very different individual. Do not think that your wheel of life will have the same indicators that somebody else's will have. And you neither will be same which were there when you were in your 20s or 30s or 40s. They might completely change. So just be open to that. Find your tribe, go grow with your tribe, and give back. So this is what I have. You can connect with me. I am not what has happened to me, but I am what I choose to become. This is where I end. Thank you so much. And with that, I pass the baton on to Hari sir.
Thank you, Nupur. Good morning, everyone. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Finance, health, and emotional intelligence are very deeply connected. I think you all will agree with me. Good health ensures we can enjoy the wealth we build, while emotional intelligence helps us make balanced decisions, handle stress, and maintain harmony in our personal and financial lives. Together, they form the foundation for a well-rounded, secure, and fulfilling life. Yes, it is a mind-boggling session, I would say. And I would like to take a moment to thank Prakash and Nupur, our previous speakers, for their great presentations. Their insights have been very helpful, and I'm sure we have learned a lot. Now, I am excited to share some of my thoughts with you, and I hope we can make this session just as interesting and informative. Friends, today we are going to talk about a subject that touches every aspect of our life: financial planning. Why financial planning is important? Because life, as we know, is a journey. Unlike any journey, it's better traveled with a clear map, a reliable compass, and a plan for every step of the way. Let me show you what I mean. Let me change my slide. Let me show you what I mean by sharing a visual representation of our life's journey. Nupur was speaking about, wheel of life. Let me talk about the map of life. Take a look at this map of life, my dear friends. It beautifully captures the key phases that almost all of us experience. The x-axis represents our responsibilities, and y-axis, the x-axis represents our age, and the y-axis represents our responsibilities. Take a look into the early phase. What is the early phase? The age between 20s to 30s. This is where it all begins. We start taking on major responsibilities. Getting married, buying a house, and planning for children. During this phase, our income begins to rise, and so do our financial needs also. The next phase is, I call it as a middle phase, say the age group between 30s to 50s. Lives get very busy, very busy. Our children grow, and so do their needs. Education expenses, extracurricular activities, and perhaps even planning for their higher studies or marriage begin to take the center stage. During this time, our income generally peaks, but so do our expenses. That also peaks. Later phase, my dear friends, 60s and beyond. This is where the graph tells a crucial story. Post-retirement, our income begins to decline. Look at the graph. Our income begins to decline. But responsibilities might not decrease at the same pace. In fact, if we have not planned well, we might find ourselves dependent on someone else, a situation none of us want to be in. At every stage, there is a gap between our needs and our income, which, if not planned for, can lead to financial stress. Now, having said this, let us look at what is financial planning. Financial planning is the process of making provision for financial needs that may arise in the future. A definition, I would rather say. And the objective of financial planning is to ensure that right amount of money, I repeat, right amount of money is available in the right hands at the right time to achieve the financial goals. But why is this financial planning important for us? And here is the big takeaway. Financial planning is not just about numbers, my dear friends. It's about ensuring that we have the freedom to make choices at every stage of life. It's about being prepared for your child's education without compromising your retirement savings. Financial planning is about being independent in your golden years rather than worrying about who will take care of you. Financial planning is about turning life's uncertainties into manageable challenges. So, as this chart clearly shows, the choice is ours. Do we want to be financially independent in the later stage of life, or do we want to depend on someone else? With financial planning, we can ensure that our journey is smooth, fulfilling, and free from unnecessary stress. Remember, friends, there is no retirement loan available. You have housing loan, you have car loan, but there is no retirement loan available. The earlier we start planning, the stronger and more secure our financial foundation will be. Let's take control of our life's journey with a proper financial planning. Okay, I spoke so much about financial planning, but how do I do it? Let me explain it with an example of a financial pyramid. Why am I taking an example of a financial pyramid? Pyramid is the strongest structure. We all know it has withstood all turbulent times. Like pyramid, the planning that we make should be strong, very strong. So the idea of discussing the financial pyramid is we are not going to put all the eggs in one basket. When I talk about investment, it should be diversified. Okay, let me talk about the basics of financial planning. How do I do a financial plan? The basement of your financial planning is protection. If I have to construct a building, the first thing what I have to do is I have to lay the foundation strong. If the foundation is strong, I can build any number of floors that I want. Similarly, the basic of a financial planning starts with protection. What is protection? It is risk cover, and it is about disability cover, and medical, it is about a health insurance or a critical insurance. Why it is important and why it lays the foundation? Let me explain. Imagine a scenario. Today I am there. Okay. Tomorrow, if I am not there in this seat, my family has a life. It does not come to an end. My wife has a life, my kids have a life, and they have to continue their life, even in my absence. What is required for that? What is required for that is a financial support. I'm not talking about an emotional support here. Emotional support will be given by my relatives. But it becomes my responsibility to ensure that in my absence, my family gets a proper financial support. And it becomes my primary responsibility to ensure that they lead a same kind of lifestyle with which we are tuned in now. So how do I do that? I have to transfer the risk. What is risk transfer? A simple term insurance, which will take care of my risk. In my absence, the required financial support is given to my family if I have a proper term insurance. That is an important foundation in your financial planning, because I do not want my family to be left at the mercy of somebody in my absence for the financial need. So it becomes my primary responsibility to take care of that. The second very important point is have a proper health insurance. If you do not have a proper health insurance, it is like, all your savings that you have done till now in your life. Imagine a situation where you do not have a health insurance. And once you step into the hospital, all your savings are drained within no time. It can be a small appendix kind of, operation or an admission, or it can be, any other ailment. But everything, all your savings get drained within no time. So health insurance will act as a proper shield for all your savings, my dear friends. And have a proper disability cover. What is a disability cover? It is nothing but a personal accident, I would say. In today's life, we are all so busy. And even if I have a small fracture or if I have a small muscle tear and if I go get operated for my muscle tear or a small fracture, and if I'm advised for a bed rest, there is a financial gap which will get developed immediately. If I'm there in bed rest for 2 months or 3 months, there is a financial gap which get developed. I have to bridge the gap. How do I bridge it? The personal accident policy will pay you up to 75,000 or lakh rupee per week if you have a proper disability cover for your temporary disability. All these three things what we spoke about forms the foundation of your financial planning, my dear friends. What next? The second level of your financial planning is risk-free growth. Expenses are of two types, my dear friends. negotiable expense and non-negotiable expense. What is non-negotiable expense? My kids' education, a medical emergency, all these are non-negotiable expense. If my kids are in 10th standard or in PU, if they have completed the 12th standard, and if I have to admit them in a college, and if I have invested all my monies in the market, and if the market is not doing good, I cannot go and tell my son, boss, don't get admitted this year. Let me put you in the college in the next year. No, not possible. Non-negotiable expense. So all those non-negotiable expenses has to be planned with risk-free growth. What are all the instruments which are available under risk-free growth? You can see certain instruments. It can be a recurring deposit, it can be your PPF, treasury bills and government bonds, your endowment policies, the life insurance cover. Whatever, if I have planned for a recurring deposit or an FD or an PPF, the maturity date and the maturity amount that is going to come to you. So whatever happens, you are certain that this amount is going to come to me. This is called as risk-free growth. But when I do my financial planning, I cannot be a conservative investor and put all my eggs in one basket. I will not say, if I start saying that, okay, let me put everything here, I don't want to take risk. No, you have to take risk in life to a certain extent. The risk appetite might vary. My risk appetite and Nupur risk appetite and Prakash risk appetite are not the same. It varies. But we have to travel in different vehicles, my dear friends. Because the returns from the risk-free growth is probably around, since it is a guaranteed investment, it can probably be around 6%, 7%, max 8%. Not more than that. It cannot even be in double digits. Then what is the other option I have? The third option is growth, but with risk. There is growth, but with risk. See the difference between the second and the third. It is risk-free growth, whereas the third one is growth with risk. Why should I travel in this vehicle, growth with risk? Because there is a factor called inflation. We have to take care of inflation. The inflation, if it is at 6%, and if my risk-free growth returns, whatever I've invested in my, RD, FD, or wherever, if that returns is also close to 6%, then it gets nullified. Savings and investments are not the same. Many people think savings and investments are same. No, it is not the same. If you have a hefty bank balance, yes, it is a savings, but your money is not growing because there is a factor called inflation which is eating up our money. What are the instruments which are available in growth with the risk? It can be your mutual funds. It can be your equity investments in shares. It can be your debentures, market-linked debentures, bonds, private bonds, ULIPs. These kind of instruments can give returns which can definitely beat inflation on a long run, provided you invest in these kind of investments with a proper guidance. There are people who have jumped into these investments without any proper guidance, and they have lost a good amount of money. What is next? I have invested in, I have protected myself. I have invested in risk-free growth. I have invested in growth with risk. What next? The next stage is high growth. What is high growth? What are the instruments available in high growth? You start investing in real estate. You become a venture capitalist. You have money. Somebody has an idea. Start investing there. Start investing in your gold and silver and antiques. All this will form the fourth step of your financial planning, which we call it as high growth. And the fifth one is what we call as speculation. Very, very highly dangerous game, I would say. If I have to give an example, I can talk about, your Bitcoins, your future and options, derivatives. So all those kind of games, if you win, it is a jackpot. If you lose, gone. The entire money is gone. So, my dear friends, this is a financial pyramid. This is how you start your financial planning. And whenever we make any kind of investments, just visualize this financial pyramid. Ask a question to yourself, where am I investing now? If you are investing in high growth, just see your downlines. And the hierarchy is from down, protection, risk-free growth, growth with risk, high growth, and speculation. This is how the hierarchy goes. So I hope this financial pyramid will help you, will definitely, these things, I strongly feel this knowledge should be given in the school or in the college, which, none of the institutions help us. Okay, but this is very essential for our life, for every one of us. Now, having said this, my dear friends, I'm sure in school, during our school days, we would have, studied about the simple interest and compound interest. I want to touch upon one small topic before I end my presentation, the power of compounding. Everybody talks about power of compounding. Let me show you the power of compounding in a different tone, in a different, presentation. My dear friends, look at the pictures, what is there in front of you. I'm investing 1 lakh rupee, okay? And the returns, what I'm expecting from my investment is at 15%. So I'm keeping 15% as the rate of returns, annualized returns every year. If you ask me a question whether 15% of returns is possible, yes, it is possible. How it is possible, connect with us and we will help you. Now, if I invest 1 lakh rupees and if my returns are growing if my investment is growing at 15% per year, in the 5th year, my 1 lakh rupee doubles, which means it becomes 2 lakhs. In the 10th year, the 2 lakh becomes 4 lakhs. In the 15th year, at the rate of 15% of annualized growth, my income, my investment of 1 lakh becomes 8 lakhs. Let us fast forward, my dear friends. At 35th year, the amount invested is 1 lakh, and at 15% growth, my investment has given me 1.28 crores. 1 lakh, 1.28 crores. Do you know how much this money has multiplied? It is 100 times, my dear friends. 100 times. The money has multiplied 100 times within 35 years at 15% per annum. And if I fast forward, 50th year, I will be sitting on 10 crores, 10.24 crores. And the money has multiplied 1,000 times. 1,000 times, which is unimaginable. And this is power of compounding. So with this note, I end my session. And I hope the financial planning and power of compounding has given you the required insight about the financial planning. And over to you, Nupur. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. I think it was a wonderful session. For me, the pyramid always is something that that has helped me. I think when the first time I looked at it, I said, okay, now this is an eye opener for me. So now I'm opening the room to question and answers. But I have a couple from the chat also. I think Mr. Huck also had a question about. So you said, as you said, 40% of our meals should be from vegetables. So how do we consume? This is probably from Prakash you. How do we consume vegetables like cooked or taking raw? And should intake some water and same in winters and in summer? So I think his question is about how we should consume vegetables like cooked or raw vegetables, and should the water intake, because I think in north the automatically the water intake tends to lessen. So would you like to take that question up, Prakash?
Yes, no problem. So vegetables, as I mentioned, 40% could be in any form. It could be cooked, it could be raw, whatever the way you like to have. But the key is to consume vegetables so that will give you complex carbohydrates, and it also helps. It gives a lot of fiber to grow our good bacteria. That's the idea here. Okay. The second one is water. Obviously, the standard thing for the consumption of water is whatever the weight you have, okay, divided by 20. That's equal to so many liters. For example, if you are, say, 50 kilos, divided by 20, that means it's 2.5 liters of water per day has to be consumed. If somebody is 100 kilos, they need to consume 5 liters a day. Obviously, during the winters, it will come down. During the summer, it will exceed because body has got a natural system of excretion where through sweat that you excrete more in summer and you naturally tend to take more without your knowledge. So in the winter, you don't sweat. So obviously, it has to pass through only through urine. So automatically, it will come down to an extent. So that balancing is done by nature. That's taken care. But you need to just keep standard thing of like 100 like weight in kgs divided by 20 is equal to so many liters of water per day. It's a standard formula for any healthy individual. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. If Mr. Huck is here, it would be, I'm not sure if you can come back. Okay, I have a question based on our survey that we had done, Hari sir. Retirement corpus should the retirement corpus, should it be kept in bank or should it be invested in market like SIP or bonds? Where will we get more returns on the same? And it should be low risk also. This was one of the questions which, when we did a survey on the requirement, so this was one of the questions that came up.
Okay, nice question, madam. I would say if the aim of our goal is to get high returns, okay, then I would definitely say we should look at investing in private bonds, debentures, and probably mutual funds and equities based on the risk appetite. But if the person who is asking this question, I do not know his age group, and if he is a senior citizen, and if he is in the verge of retirement, if he is enjoying his retirement, then I would say as a financial planner, what we look at is at the capital protection. So we will not give a much aggressive exposure, whereas we will definitely moderate. We'll advise him to go for a moderate kind of risk, to take moderate kind of risk. So it depends on the age and the need. So this is subjective, but if I talk about traditional investments, yes, FD is a traditional investment where we get around 7.5% or 6.5% is the returns what we get. When I go to a bonds or a debentures, I can get returns up to 11.5 or 12% also. But yes, disclaimer, certain risk attached.
Okay, I think that should answer the question. We will also put this on our website and our YouTube video, so people who want to address this can take it up there. Another question which was there is, how do you generate means of second income? Hari sir, this is for you.
The means of second income, as I was telling, we have to upgrade ourselves to smart investment. And one of the smart investment is, those days we were saving our money in piggy bank or in, we opened a RD, recurring deposit. We have to upgrade ourselves to mutual funds, SIP, start creating corpus every month, whatever, bring a financial discipline and start an SIP. Once you start an SIP and you accumulate a good corpus, let us say you are sitting on a 5 crores of corpus or a 2 crores of corpus. Whatever is my need, if I need, 25,000 or 50,000 per month for my expenses, start pulling out only the required amount. If I need 50,000, just start pulling out only 50,000 from the money accumulated. And the rest of the money will remain invested in the market. And we call this as SWP, Systematic Withdrawal Plan. So this is the best way I would suggest.
Amazing. I think one of the questions we also have from you, Prakash, and I think it is also a bit of connected with me, is how does eating right have a connect with emotional well-being? I think you can also, you should also take this, but yes.
Yeah, I think you're already an expert on that. So just to add from nutrition point of view, is because as I mentioned earlier, nutrition has a direct impact on physical, mental, and social well-being. So one of the says is when you're emotionally down, okay? So there's a possibility that, say, for example, emotionally down or somebody is in depression, okay? There is something called they tend to eat more. And that's how they become obese. Because the reason is there's something called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So without knowledge, you tend to eat more at the time. So there's a direct correlation between the food you eat and the emotion or the status of mental well-being what you have. So that have direct impact on that. So that's why we always need to focus on foods which is good for us, especially in terms of, for example, somebody is having, like as I mentioned earlier, if you want to take care of your brain function, I mentioned a couple of foods like food, nuts. Okay. So those kind of like maybe fish oil or whatever it is. So those are the helps foods that help you to improve your mental balance as well as improve your serotonin levels in the gut. So thereby that will help you to get a sense of well-being. So that's how the food is directly connected to emotional well-being.
Amazing. Chandan, I remember you had a question. I'm not sure Padma had to leave. She texted, but Chandan had a question about
Yes,
how
ma'am.
do you, so if he's in the session. Chandan, are you in the session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So you had a question, right?
Yeah. My question is that nowadays, popular brands sell their items by saying they are the very good for health, like we Hilton Horlicks, not the Horlicks. If you go to the section, there is lot more sugar in that. How we can identify the packaged food is a good or health or not? Mainly the fitness industry, they sell their whey proteins also. They are very good for health. Whey protein. Is that real or fake?
See, as I mentioned earlier, it's all individual requirement. That's why I said you need to identify your bio individuality. That's the first thing. Okay. So based on that, what is your need? I mean, you can't blindly go by what the market says because market is there. The marketing is done to sell their product. It doesn't mean that every product which they sell is good for me as an individual. It may be good for somebody, but not everybody. Okay. So the first, as a standard rule is when you take any of the processed foods, okay, if we, that we need to develop a habit of reading the ingredients in that. So in most cases, unknowingly, okay, even if you take something like mixtures or savories, okay, it's supposed to be hot and spicy, but that have loaded with sugar. Unfortunate thing. That's because sugar is used as a preservative in those cases. So you need to avoid anything which contains sugar, okay, added sugar. That is something we need to understand. Second thing is whey protein is good for somebody who is involved in working on their muscle mass. Okay, somebody who wants to really working out, somebody is going to gym on a regular basis, and somebody who wants to put on muscle mass. Then yes, whey protein is good. But provided again, there are plenty of brands available in whey protein. So again, there you need to understand, read the label, understand what exactly it contains. So if it contains again added sugar, okay, more flavored, okay, additional sugars, and if it contains any preservatives, okay, and if it contains any steroids, in some cases they also add steroids. So you need to be mindful about understanding these things and then figure out whether it's really good for you and whether you're really in need of that, then you can go and use it. Otherwise, I think better to stay away from those things.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I think we are towards the end of the session. Hari sir, I have one question for you. Uh, if there are any more people, I personally have one question, which is about SWP,
Yes,
which
ma'am.
is a new buzzword that I've been hearing, uh, especially for people who are around our age, which is like just like SIP, I think it's withdrawal plan. So what is that, and how do we work around the money that we'll require going forward?
Okay. SIP stands for Systematic Investment Plan, whereas SWP stands for Systematic Withdrawal Plan. As the name suggests, when I have a corpus created, let us assume, I have a crore rupee, I invest it in the market. The other way of creating a corpus is through SIP. Every month, I invest some X amount, and then it slowly starts building with the power of compounding, and with the rupee averaging, the SIP grows. And once we have a corpus built, then I start pulling out money. And instead of pulling out the entire money from the market, I want to enjoy the market growth also, because India is a very strong growing economy, and I want to participate in India's growth story. And how do I participate? By being invested in the market. So I want my money also to be there invested in the market, but I want to pull out every month for my requirement. So out of 1 crore corpus which is there invested in the mutual funds, I pull out only 50,000 for my need every month. It's like a pension, I give a standing instruction saying, first of every month, credit my account with 50,000. It's done.
Right.
The rest of the money, the balanced money, remains invested in the market and grows at the face of the market. And you get back every amount, whatever is the instruction that you are given based on the standing instruction given, the 50K gets credited to your account. It is as simple as that.
And how do we come to that understanding? We will be we should get in touch with you to understand more about this, right? Because
yes, that is where our expertise will come in.
right.
So as a wealth management company, we help you to we completely handhold you, and we help you in your financial journey. You can start we help you to choose the right funds, where to get invested, how to rebalance it, and every handholding is given by us, and we take care of the complete portfolio management system.
Brilliant. So we are here. I think we are at the end of the session. We are at 12:30. Thank you so much, Prakash sir. Thank you so much, Hari sir. And on behalf of Facilitating Excellence, an emotional coach, emotional help, emotional support organization, I would like to extend my heartiest gratitude to our speakers here and our guest. If I may kind of have invite people from the guest to say and something about the experience that you've had. I know you've been putting your your comments, but if you can unmute and talk about your experience, it'll be really helpful for us as well.
I can go, Nupur.
Yes, please, by all means.
Yeah, it was a great informative session and a wonderful experience. All three of you from different fields came together and shared your knowledge. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ritika, and thank you for being here. Seeing you itself was such a delight. Thank you for being a part of the journey. I know Ganesh has been writing a lot for us. Ganesh, please, if you can unmute and say something.
Hi, Nupurji and Prakash ji, Hari ji. Thank you so much for this insightful session today. And I learned a lot personally. And I feel throughout the sessions, each of the sessions interconnected to the other session in terms of our personal growth, personal gain, and the societal growth also. So it was very, very informative, and I would love to attend many sessions further. Surely, I have been following Nupurji for for long while, and yes, so it is good day for me to learn, particularly the financial management part. I am really very anxious to know how we can build our financial personally our personal part of financial growth. Definitely I would love to connect with Hariji sometime later in this regard, surely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ganesh
Thank
is,
you, Nupurji.
I would definitely tell something about Ganesh. Ganesh has been an inspiration to me also in a lot of ways. I mean, I find Ganesh's journey absolutely inspirational. So,
Thank
Hari,
you, Nupurji.
I would definitely recommend it. Yes, connecting with him is a very wonderful idea. Uh, so, thank you all for being a part of this wonderful. We are actually at 12:30, and I think slightly up at 12:30. Thank you again, Prakash sir, Hari sir, and I'll thank myself as well. Let's
Thank
thank
you, Nupur madam. Let me thank you, and thank you, Prakash, and thank you all participants. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nupurji.
Thank
See you
you.
soon. See you soon
Thank
with
you
the
so much.
wonderful sessions again. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank
Nupur
you.
for organizing this such a wonderful event.
Thanks for the session. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, each and
Thank
everyone.
you,
Bye bye.
everyone.
Take
Thank you
care,
very
each of
much.
us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Dhanyawad.
Bye, 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 Nupur ma'am. Bye, bye.
Thank you all.